Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Master Phil in Your Corner podcast. This is episode 106. This is called Pick a Direction and Go. What are you waiting for? We are pleased and honored to have a special guest. She's a writer, director, and actor. In 2020, was nominated as the Best Supporting Actress in the Canadian Screen Awards. Her name is Alison Midstokke, and she's actually been on the podcast before, and she's a repeat offender here. But before we get into the subject and her new project coming up, let's thank our sponsors. PhilRoss.com, Kettlebells and Bodyweight, self-defense, martial arts, virtual and in-person training, virtual through Patreon at Master Phil Ross. As if you just want me, there's over 150 videos plus education. And I'm also on Burn Along, and you'll gain access to over 2,000 other instructors. We have a couple of books out there, Survival Strong and Ferocious Fitness, as well as the Kettlebell Workout Library Manual. They are all available on Amazon. And the Kettlebell Workout Library Manual is free to all Kindle subscribers. Seminars and certifications to the Body Bell Method, the Minimalist Approach to Strength Fitness, ACE and NASM certified. We also have certifications in Survival Strong for defensive tactics and body conditioning. The P3 Training Group, Plan, Prepare, Protect, in-person online courses and workshops for civilians and law enforcement for active threat training. Health as Well, a virtual community outreach platform for mental and physical health, wellness, fitness, and education. The Under Project, supportive and comfortable underwear for men. And One Sleeve BJJ, rash guards, shorts, shirts, hoodies, and all other sorts of fight gear, uniforms, and apparel. All right, let's get down to business here. Alison, great to see you. Great to have you back on the podcast. So, the thing is that, you've accomplished so many things. You've overcome so many obstacles. And how did you just pick a direction and go? I mean, you have done that.
Yes. I almost called you Dr. Phil again. Hi, Master Phil. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure.
It's a privilege. To answer the question, I think, art motivates me, creating art and trying to make the world a better place. That's what makes me keep moving forward.
Wow, that's so. Now, something had to inspire you. Was it your personal story? Was it how you could help other people facing adversity situations? And what's been some of the feedback that you've gotten from some people that have said, "Hey, gosh, Alison, you really helped me out. I didn't know what to do. I was frozen in my tracks. I was, held within myself. You helped me." Can you relay any stories like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I had my calling when I was about 5, 6 years old, and I knew I had a purpose to, serve the Lord and help the community. And I always felt like I needed to be out there in the public and make a difference. So over the years, I fell into the fashion industry and the arts and fell into film, which I never thought I would get into because at the time I did not want to be in a spotlight. I just wanted to be behind the scenes and create art. And and over the years, by creating art and putting myself out there, people are inspired. I think quite a few years ago, I worked with a photographer who's very good, and he happened to be a non-believer of God. And he told a mutual friend of ours at one point, and he said to him that, I inspired him to believe in God. And he now believes in God. So I was quite moved by that. And I think the work I was doing, he felt like maybe there is a God.
Well, you know what? You bring up something that's very important. And, the moment you said it, it just struck a chord in my head. I don't know if you just recently saw the Tyrese Gibson interview. He's in the new Fast and the Furious 10 movie. and he's a rapper and so forth. And man, he just was on a podcast. I think it was Joe Rogan,
Mhm.
and he just went off. He goes, "Listen, I know I'm supposed to be promoting my new music, and I'm supposed to be promoting this film, but I'm here to talk to you about Jesus and God because we have gone and put the devil in the forefront." He goes, Hollywood. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, and people are free to look up the video, but yeah, he was saying how Jesus has been relegated to this like little token good luck charm thing, and the devil is out in the forefront. And wait, there you go. So you can
Yeah.
see. um, and things that it's weird because it used to be where you hid the devil. The Satan worshipers were in some remote basement doing their weird thing, but now they're in the forefront. All of Hollywood is embraced the devil, Satan, and I believe most of mainstream media has as well. Thank God we have these outlets, and God is people are almost ashamed to represent God and
Yep.
and talk
Mhm.
about the religion and so forth. And uh, you know, to me, I think that's a very empty lifestyle. And I'll say something. Okay, if you climb to the top of a mountain, which I often do because I was just running in the mountains this morning, and you look out, you see how small and insignificant we are. And you
Mhm.
go to the edge of the ocean and you
Mhm.
look out at this vast body of water and you see how insignificant a person is and what we think we're the end all be all to everything, we're not. There's something much higher than us. There's something that drives us on. Like I know that you are compelled to put yourself out there in very uncomfortable situations for the betterment of others. I'm doing the same thing. We have our different paths and reaching different people different ways, or maybe reaching the same person but different ways.
Mhm.
But you have to understand that we need that relationship, with God, and and not to be ashamed of it.
Mhm.
How did how did you kind of open this guy's eyes? What was the thing that did it? Was there one thing, or was it just seeing how you operated over X amount of time that awakened this person you're working with?
Are you talking about the photographer or are you talking about the audience?
Well, let's hit that photographer first, and then we'll talk about your audience.
Yeah, so I believe my mission is to share beauty. Beauty is different and different is beauty. And I think he was just amazed how well I photographed. And he just saw so much beauty and light that came through
Yeah.
me. He was just very touched. And I think there were some photos that can be seen on my website and
Mhm.
Instagram, and he was just moved.
Yeah. Well, some people may not know what you've gone through. So if you just tell a little bit of your background, because a lot of people listen to the podcast as opposed to watching it. So, and then even some people watching it might not really even know. So
Mhm.
if you want to just share the amount of, gosh, you went through quite a lot of pain, shall we say, and
Yeah.
quite a few surgeries, a lot of ups and downs and so forth. So if you could just share people, like talk to them about the condition that you have really just not only overcome but embraced and
Yeah.
basically took to the next level. So if you could just share with us.
Sure. I was born with a syndrome, which I don't really like to talk too much about, but it's called Treacher-Collins syndrome, and I was born with it at a young age, and
Mm.
I had surgeries throughout my childhood, the day I was born, and I don't really had many surgeries now, but
Right,
it's just again, like I said before, I felt like God reached out to me. This is your purpose to create
right.
art, to educate the community, to um show that different is beauty, beauty is different. And I also believe that we're going to a transition right now, a major transition, that we're going to a higher consciousness.
Yeah.
So in order for us to get there, we have to be acceptance of, diversity and people with different backgrounds, if that makes sense.
The funny thing is that you bring up diversity, and I mean, I think the word has kind of morphed a little bit because to me, there's a difference between accepting something and then advocating it, and then truly promoting it. And I think that we've maybe gone a little bit too much one way. I would never want to preclude anyone from pursuing any type of happiness, but we have to be careful of this force-fed indoctrination that I see that's going on. And honestly, I don't think that is. I don't think that God wants that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're really considerably altering or trying to alter things that God has created. That level, But so now what because it's a situation where people have great ideas, so many great ideas and great dreams and so forth. But a dream is a wish until you take action. And how did you just go for it? Because so many people they wait. Yeah, they hear this excuse. Oh gosh, I don't have enough money, or gosh, I don't have enough time, or gosh, I got to finish school first, or gosh, oh, I just had a new baby, or I just I got to pay for my car, or I'm moving to a new apartment, whatever it is. They always find a reason not to do it, and you didn't let any of this stuff hold you back. So what do you think? How do you think people can overcome these situations where they're afraid to pull the trigger, or they're waiting for it, and how do you think that they can do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I had a lot of setbacks in my life, but when I look back, I actually did a lot more than an average person who had less setbacks. But believe it or not, I had quite a few setbacks, and there were days where I just felt like I couldn't complete something or have the motivation. The key is taking baby steps. A lot of people make a mistake about thinking about reaching a bigger goal. So how I look at it is you look at the big picture, the bigger goal, like let's say I want to buy a home. Okay, great. Then there's other goals to get there. Like, okay, I want to save $50,000 by the end of this year. Okay. But what people are not really understanding is the small steps, small goals to reach to that goal, to reach the bigger goal, if that makes sense. So when I had setbacks and obstacles, and there's days where I felt like I was defeated, or I couldn't move forward, what I did was take a little step, and maybe the next day take 2 steps. And I had a conversation with a friend who's an ex-bishop, and he's still struggling with alcoholism, unfortunately. But he called me, and he was just in bad shape. And I explained to him that, stop thinking about the big picture. He lost his family. It's really bad. So I told him, stop focusing on the big picture, start setting goals, even little goals, steps, baby steps. Like the next day, get out of bed, take a shower, or go on a walk. That's all you can do, baby steps. And if you can't 20 in one day, fine. Just do 1. Next day, do 5. That's how I keep myself moving forward.
That's such great advice. People look at this thing, oh gosh, I'll never accomplish that. I can relate one story as I ran my own business. I had I customed my 2 older kids. I had gotten married, had another little kid, and I went back to school to get my master's. When I looked at it, I'm like, what am I doing? Um, but I chunked it. I took a course at a time, a month at a time, a week at a time, a day at a time. And, kind of, brought up this old adage that says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Mhm.
So if you look at that big old elephant, you say, there's no way I can fit that in me. Well, you know what? One bite at a time. And that's what you're saying. Just take
Mhm.
one step, one bite, and just keep going forward. And I,
Yep.
I think that is just this great advice for people. And you are definitely a representative of this process where,
Mhm.
hey, you know what? Don't wait. Just go. Just go. Just
Yep.
go. Take a little bit. Don't be overwhelmed. And I think that
Mhm.
sometimes people see the totality of a situation and say, oh gosh, I can't do it. It's huge. The enormity of this project is huge. So it's one step at a time. That's great. The
Small
same thing.
step.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So talking about taking one step at a time, we have a video here, and it's a trailer for your latest movie. And when will Lady Bogie be out?
The short film will be released to the public on June 30th, and
June
I'll be
30th.
making announcements on Instagram and Facebook
Mhm.
and also on the website.
Oh, well, where the heck? Oh, I went to the wrong one. Where'd your Lady Bogie go? I had you right here. Coming
It's
soon. There it is.
yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put it up here for the viewers, and hopefully everyone else will be able to see it. Here we go. And we're rolling. Let me scroll back here.
Really?
Very cool. Very cool. So, hey, let me ask you. Okay, now I see you have a little gunplay in there. Did you take any training for for handling a firearm, or is it something you've known already? Or
Uh, well, Lady Bogie knows already. Um, so I've been very active when I was young, and did a lot of boot camp classes, some martial arts classes.
Mhm,
So I've been very um familiar with martial arts, but
mhm,
with the
mhm.
gun, no, that's a fake gun. I
Okay.
practice a lot, and it's not professional training was involved.
Mhm.
Yet one of the actors who plays German, who's tied in his
He's
chair,
tied up
is
there.
actually a retired narcotics NYPD officer, which is very interesting. So I
Yeah.
think he was impressed how I used the gun, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a fun project. Took about less than 10 hours to shoot. I wanted to push myself to see
Mhm.
how far we can go in a short amount of time, but
Right.
it's more of a skit than a short
Well,
film.
how long is the whole video? The
It's
whole
about 8 minutes. There's
8 minutes?
eight
Oh, cool.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bloopers are at the end, and also comics will be released in the film as well,
Oh,
and
wow.
also on the website.
That's pretty cool. And I like that Real Life Productions, REEL, Life Productions. I like that. I see your name all over that. It's being the so you're producer, director. star the whole thing. It's pretty cool. So it's that's going to be coming out on June 30th. And
Mhm.
where will people be able to see this? Will it be
YouTube.
on YouTube? So it's going to be on YouTube. Okay,
Yep.
great.
I'll make an announcement soon on my website and Instagram and just let people know about it.
Great. So what I'll be doing in our podcast when I send this out to social media, the link to the trail will be there, as well as all the links to your Instagram and your website and so forth.
Yes.
So what else you got going on after this one? I know we're
Well,
talking about promoting this one that's coming out in like less than 2 weeks, but what else you got? I know you don't just have one thing you're doing.
well,
So
I just want to mention one quick thing. The reason
mhm.
why I did this short film, it's a skit from Sin City. And
Yes.
when you mentioned about diversity, the whole point about this short film is to try to educate the film industry and the audience that they should not always have to cast actors or people with disabilities to portray sadistic, evil characters. You see that a lot, like the new upcoming movie with Jennifer Lopez, The Mother. One of the villains, his face is burned. Like Darth Vader in Star Wars or the Joker. Why not reverse the roles? So, like, for example, the veterans who fought for our country and freedom, they
Yeah.
come back hoping to fight for our freedom.
Yes. Sure.
They're burned head to toe, and they have to go through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And and it's just that we often see films portraying people with differences as bad. Why not reverse it? So that's what I do as an actor,
Yeah.
director, artist to try to shine a light on creativity to try to put some ideas out there. Like, hey, let's try this and this. And when people see my work, they're like, wow, that's a cool idea. Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe think outside of the box a little bit. So that's what I mean by diversity. Try to, you know, try to share a little bit of difference. And it's not always bad to, create characters who are different to play the good guys. It's not bad
Yeah.
to do them in a
You know,
once in a while.
the funny thing is that we usually don't think about it. We just kind of accept it. And, like the villain, oh gosh, the villain had, this bad accident or they're born disfigured or whatever it is. And this is why they act that way.
Mhm.
I think that, Hollywood in general is trying to go and say, oh gosh, there needs to be an excuse for people to act bad, but human nature can be evil at times, and some people are just evil, especially when they don't have, this guy in their life. So I'm holding my cross for those of you who are just listening, and they want to say, "Oh gosh, this person is different than me, so they must be bad," which
Mhm.
is completely false.
Yeah.
Just completely false. I love what you're doing. That's awesome. I mean, and you know what? And people don't realize, because you're fighting this, okay, you're fighting this stigma that they put out, that it takes a lot more guts to do it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot more guts to do that. And I applaud you for really taking this bull by the horns and moving it forward. That's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing that. Uh, Very cool. So now, after the release of this, what do you think about doing? Like I said, do you have anything else in the works right now, or are we?
Not at this time. I plan on writing a couple of movie scripts. I don't want to share too much of my ideas to the public,
No,
but
yeah,
again,
yeah, 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 yeah.
something, similar to doing what I'm doing with Lady Bogie is trying to write something that no one has done before. There's a
Right.
film called The Whale that was written by Samuel
Yes,
Weaver. He
that's what.
actually lives
Yeah,
in the neighborhood,
yeah,
and Brendan Fraser is the star, and
yeah.
that film reminds me of a film that I was in called Happy Face. So it's very real. There's things
Yeah.
that the film shows that people don't really want to see,
Right.
or
It was dark.
yeah, it's hard
Yeah,
to
it's dark.
watch. It's reality.
Yeah.
And that's what I mentioned to Samuel the Hunter when I was at the Inwood Film Festival a few weeks ago. So
Mhm.
I just thought it's good. I think people need to put more real drama out there, such as, Forrest Gump, The Whale,
Yeah.
Rain.
Rain Man, things like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, that's bring up some great points. So yeah. Well, hey, listen, if you ever need anybody else, let me know because I'm going to be in made for TV movie coming up.
Right?
Yeah, called Warrior Island. I'll be one of the trainers on it. So I'll be, Master Phil doing my thing, getting these guys ready for combat in the cage. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're filming in August. So, I'll be on set. Um, yeah, Allison, I'll tell you, it's been great having you on. You quick give a verbal shout out to your links and so forth, even though they will be in the information. So, what are some of the links that people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, so if you go onto my website, www.alison.midstock.com, you can see the updates, and also on Instagram as well. But if you want to learn more about Lady Bogie, um, we have an Instagram. It's a Lady Bogie official on Instagram, and the website, let me get the website quickly. It is on the Instagram official page.
Right. It's on the Instagram
Yeah. So the website is
profile.
www.ladybogie.wixsite.com/Lady Bogie.
Cool. I'm sure that if people for some reason can't remember that or do it, they'll look for Lady Bogie. I'm sure that they can find everything they need with you, and I'll put links in the body of the podcast episode. So excellent. Well, again, thank you for coming on. It was great to see you. I can't wait for this trailer to be out. And yeah, I love Sin City. It was a pretty cool movie, both of them. So yeah, so as I see, it's very Sin City esque. And yeah, look forward to seeing it. And obviously, good luck with your future projects. And audience, thank you for listening. This is Master Phil signing off. Strength and honor.